Hi everyone! I have been sitting on this thought this week of why doesn't everything work out for me? Or why didn't I get that job? Or why didn't that person want to meet up with me today? And it's so funny because sometimes the world doesn't go the way we want it to. And we can take that really personally. And this session, I want to talk about how we can overcome that and stop our mind from spiraling. Because I don't know about you, but the old me used to go down a whole spiraling out of control rabbit warren where I would tell myself all sorts of terrible things. And that really caused a lot of mental distress and then a lot of physical repercussions in my external world. So remember, once we break down internally, it affects our external world as well. So my name is Lisa C. I am a life coach here and I help women to find self-love and worth so they can make radical change in their life, which is just the best thing ever. And it really starts with these mindset hacks. And something I've been picking up with a lot with people at the moment is this fear of rejection, because we are wired to not want to be rejected, right? We want to be liked, we want to be included because that means safety. And remember, we talk a lot about, our primitive brain wants pleasure and safety. And so we're wired, and this is why we get people pleasers, because we're like, I want to be liked by everybody. I want to, not face rejection, either socially, financially, physically, whatever it is. And so when those rejections come to us, they're very, very uncomfortable. And the first thing that I find happens is the spiral out of control and saying things like, it must be me, there's something wrong with me, or why doesn't the world give me this? Nothing in my life goes right. And then we kind of keep those thoughts in place, and then we push that into our external world where we start doing old patterns and behaviors that feed into that belief that it's for us. And I don't know if you've ever had that, like when you've got extra money and then all of a sudden a crazy bill comes up, and then you're like, oh, see, anytime I have extra money, something else comes up. And so we're actually vibrating on the fear of that financial rejection, of like, every time I get it, I can't really have it. And, or it could just be a job offer that you really thought you would get and you really thought you were the right person and you got along with the people really well, but then they rejected you. Or it could just be a friend that you really want to catch up with, but they keep making excuses of why they can't be there, or you might get the silent treatment. And those things are really hard for us to be able to handle. And I really want to acknowledge that it is difficult. It's not just as straightforward as switching off your mind and just letting go. However, I have found this phrase to be really, really life-changing. And it's so simple, but it really pulls me out from the spiral. And this is what, I talk with a lot with people, is it's all about that thought spiral. If we go down that, we're going into old patterns straight away and into that primitive response mode, and we don't vibrate on that higher level of the life that we really want to manifest. So I want you to manifest anything that you want. I want you to live the life that you want. But the weird thing is that rejection is a massive part of that. Rejection is actually critical. You have to put yourself in situations where you're going to risk rejection, risk being judged and let down and all of those things. So it's actually a really, really important thing. And you would have heard this before. This is not a new phrase. I don't know who originally made it up. I hear it all over every time, the internet, but I think it's been phenomenal in what I do and what I've helped people as well with. And I'm really all about giving the basic tools so you can change your mindset, because I think we can go through all these complex changes, but sometimes it's as simple as just changing the way you think and feel about yourself and noticing the physical changes around you. So when rejection happens, it's not about me. That's kind of what I say. I'm like, it's not about me. It's not personal to me. You find that in your heart. So that doesn't mean that you can't self-reflect or make changes and, be critically, think critically and go, what could I do better next time, and grow. But we don't want to make the rejection towards you, right? So you kind of use rejection instead of a negative thing. You change your mind and think of it as a positive thing. It just means it's going to open up another door somewhere. So rejection is just redirection, and that's it. That's how it filters through in my day. So every time that happens and I get that yucky feeling in my stomach, and then I get tight in my chest, and I'm like, oh my gosh, everything I planned for hasn't worked out, or that person doesn't like me, and I feel that rejection socially, financially, emotionally, whatever it is, I come back to rejection is just redirection. And that takes that weight off my shoulders, that it's me and that it's personal, because it's not always about you. And it's really important to remember that redirection is good for everybody involved. It's not just good for you. You are happy, because imagine if someone didn't reject you, right? And they, kept coming to see you. You would rather they rejected you, really, than kept coming to see you and they don't actually want to be there. And they're spending their time with you out of, guilt or feeling like they have to. This is really, really crazy to think about it in this way, but that's why we need to turn rejection into a positive rather than a negative. And remember, the reason it's negative is because primitively it means danger. It means if you're excluded from your tribe, rejected from that's potential death, but we don't live in that environment anymore, but our brain doesn't know that sometimes. So it's really being able to retrain it and reprogram it, to reassure it that rejection is actually a really positive thing now. And the way you see rejection is completely different, and it's actually totally fine and normal. Say you go on, a date and someone rejects you. I mean, thank goodness that they reject you now rather than down the road. Thank you for not being my person, because my person wouldn't reject me in that way. So it's really finding that gratitude and thanks, and knowing that it's just a redirection into something more beautiful for you. And sometimes we have to be brave enough to step over that, because if not, again, we spiral down and we only see all the bad things that have happened to us, and it just feeds into that loop that nothing good is ever going to happen, and it's all rejection and fear and base. So we really want to move into, this is a positive experience. No matter what happens, I'm going to get through it. I can make it. And rejection is redirection, and that is where I want you to flip that one script in your life. No matter if it's a person, a situation, something you're doing for yourself, that rejection is the most amazing thing that can happen to you, because it is going to open up new doors. And if you keep making brave choices, then you can literally have the changes that you want in your life. You can feel great about yourself, and no spiraling is always a great feeling. So thanks so much for listening in. If you would love to book in and have a chat with me about how you can stop spiraling in your mindset, how you can really feel good about yourself each and every day, and how you can just draw in everything that you have ever wanted by healing yourself and who you are, then jump on the link below. I will drop the link in there. There's a free 20-minute chat that we can just discuss if that's the best fit for you. Have a great Wednesday. Take care, everyone.